The restaurant's soft lighting couldn't disguise the tremor in my hands. The moment he said it, the air seemed to split open. "I'll take care of your wife tonight, Daniel," Mark said, his voice calm, confident, as if he'd just offered to refill my wine. The table went silent. Even the clink of glasses from nearby seemed to fade into static. Sophia froze beside me, the faintest flush creeping up her neck. I turned to her. Her lips parted as if to protest, but no sound came. And in that suspended moment, I understood something I had been refusing to see for months. She wasn't shocked. She was scared. I forced a smile, thin and cold. "Excuse me," Mark chuckled, leaning back in his chair, his Rolex catching the candlelight. "I mean, you've been working so hard. Why not let her keep me company for a night? She's quite the conversationalist." His words dripped with insinuation. Laughter rippled around the table from the other executives. An uneasy, complicit kind. They weren't sure if it was a joke. Neither was I. Sophia looked at me, her eyes darting, silently begging me not to make a scene. That silent plea twisted something inside me. Because that look wasn't confusion, it was guilt. "Mark," I said evenly, "maybe you should watch what you say." "Oh, relax," he grinned, swirling his whiskey. "We're all friends here." But my wife didn't laugh. She reached for her glass, her fingers trembling just slightly. It wasn't fear of Mark. It was fear of me realizing the truth. And in that moment I realized. This wasn't the first time he'd joked like this. 3 months earlier, Sophia started staying late at the firm's events. Mark had personally requested her help with project coordination. I told myself she was ambitious, that she was proud of me, of us because we both worked under him. I ignored how she smiled differently when she mentioned his name. I ignored the new perfume, the late texts, the way she started wearing red lipstick again, the shade I used to love. I convinced myself it was just stress. That's what love does. It rationalizes the decay. Back in the present, Mark raised his glass in a mock toast. To loyalty, in business and in pleasure. That word loyalty burned through me. Sophia didn't raise her glass. Neither did I. Instead, I placed my hand over hers beneath the table. Her pulse was racing. She flinched. It was confirmation enough. The dinner dragged on like a slow bleed. I smiled where I should. Laughed when expected. I listened to Mark brag about his new villa, his cars, his network. Sophia said little, her smile brittle, eyes darting to me now and then. Every time Mark's hand brushed hers she recoiled, but not enough. Just enough to make it look accidental. When dessert came, Mark leaned forward, his tone low but deliberate. "Daniel, my friend, you've built something solid here. But sometimes to move higher you need to share the load. Understand?" It wasn't a suggestion. It was a threat disguised as opportunity. He wanted to see if I'd sell my pride the way she already had. I met his gaze. "I understand perfectly." Later that night in the car, Sophia was silent. The rain smeared the city lights across the windshield, colors bleeding together like bruises. I finally said it. "How long?" Her breath caught. "What? How long have you been sleeping with him?" Her eyes filled instantly, but no words came. That silence was worse than any confession. "Don't lie," I said softly. "Please." "Not now." Tears streamed down her face, her voice shaking. "It was a mistake, Daniel. I didn't, he said he'd fire you if I didn't." I laughed, but it came out hollow. "So you did it for me. How noble." "It wasn't like that," she cried. "I thought it would protect us. You were so close to promotion." "He said." I slammed the brakes. The car skidded slightly. "He said what?" "That he'd make your life hell if I didn't play along." For a moment my rage shifted to something else, an ache. Because I could see the fear in her eyes wasn't of me, but of the power he had over both of us. Still, betrayal has a sound. Wait. And I could feel it pressing on my chest. "You should have told me," I whispered. "I couldn't. You'd have confronted him, and he'd have destroyed you." He destroys everyone who crosses him. I stared at the rain sliding down the windshield, each drop warping the streetlights into halos. He already did. The next morning I went to work early. Mark was in his office, coffee in hand, smirking as if nothing had happened. He looked up when I entered. "Rough night." Smiled. "Actually, no. I slept great." He raised an eyebrow. "Good. 'Cause I have a new contract proposal. Something that'll require your discretion." I placed a small USB on his desk. "You'll want to be discreet then. That has recordings from last night's dinner. And from your villa. I'm sure HR and your wife will find them enlightening." His smirk faltered. I leaned in. "You may own a company, Mark, but you don't own people. Not me. Not her." He tried to speak, but I was already walking out. That night, Sophia sat on the couch, eyes red, hands clasped. "What did you do?" "I quit," I said simply. "He's finished. And so are we." She broke down, reaching for me. "Please, Daniel. Don't do this. We can fix it." I knelt in front of her, brushing a tear from her cheek. "You made a choice. So did I." I stood, heading for the door. Outside, the rain had stopped. The air smelled of wet asphalt and something like freedom, bitter but real. I looked back through the window one last time. She was still there, crying into her hands. And for the first time in months I felt calm. Not happy. Not angry. Just done. Because betrayal, once exposed, doesn't ask for forgiveness. It demands closure. And that night I finally gave it.